Now, we've all got really special friends in our lives, but they're the ones that you know really love you. And the ones that are willing to get up at, 11 minutes to 6 in the morning in Washington, D.C., where it is currently minus 13 degrees, well, they go to the front of the queue for the most awesome people you know. Annelise Nielsen may well be one of them, in fact. She has gone from being the Sky News correspondent in Washington to now the analyst for us in Washington, which means just free to say what she thinks, right? And lovely to see you, mate. You look amazing, as always. Happy New Year. Welcome to the new role.
Thank you. And I had to get up at 5 a.m. for the record. You know, this doesn't just make itself happen.
Hey, it's magic, right? Now, let's talk about this ICE situation because people understand that Donald Trump was hired to largely get rid of the millions of people who Biden let in and close the border. He's closed the border. Getting rid of them is hard. And we know that there are super left-wing agitators that want to push back, okay? But when we get to this scenario where 2 people have now been shot and killed, when there's an argument about the threat that they posed, we're getting to a scenario now where even the president is apparently starting to review what might be happening here. Again, you can be all in on MAGA and see this for what it is, which is something that should not have happened, certainly in the case of the bloke, I say.
Yeah, and it's turned into a bit of a don't believe your lying eyes kind of argument from the initial reaction from the Trump administration. And I know why they do this. They want to get out and they want to have their narrative out front and centre because they don't trust the media to be accurately reporting what is happening on the ground. But in an incident like what happened with this Alex Preddy, there were so many different camera angles. All these guys have their phones out all the time. We haven't seen the camera vest footage yet, and it's not always an assumption that federal agents wear them. They don't have to, but it's been confirmed now that they were wearing camera vests. We haven't seen that, but what we have seen is that he was on the ground, he had people over him, he wasn't coming at them in an aggressive way, he had his firearm taken off him. And Paul, this is where they've really lost their own base. The argument that a person in America who's licensed to carry a firearm is carrying it in the appropriate way isn't allowed to go to a protest. I mean, how many people who go to MAGA protests carry a weapon legally and want that right protected, as is their constitutional right? And so for the admin to come out and say, well, he was a terrorist, we know that's not true now, and then to say, well, he shouldn't have had a gun, yikes.
Yeah, well, again, this is just, and look, and again, right, and I'm sure I'm going to have a spirited discussion with Megyn Kelly, disagrees with both of us when we have a chat with her tomorrow night. But yes, ultimately, if no one was there, then there's no chance anything's going to go wrong. But the reality is that they are allowed to be there because that's the joy of a free country. Again, I understand the people who say you can't give an inch because the people we're up against, in terms of the protest, they're crazy, they're like next level crazy, and they get in our face and they blow the whistles and they dox us and they all the rest of it. I understand. But the difference between the average person being confronted with this and people who are supposedly trained law enforcement is that those circumstances don't affect their judgment about whether something is a lethal threat or not.
Yes, and I mean, when we talk about trained law enforcement, that's one of the questions here. They've had such a big push to recruit so many of these ICE agents. Many of them are out there after having 8 weeks of training and very little required as part of the actual application process. If you've already been in some kind of law enforcement, they'll fast track you. There's sign-on bonuses authorised by the big, beautiful bill up to $50,000. There's a lot of incentives for people to be out there, and it's a really hard job. They have really intense quotas to be trying to get the number of people arrested, and it doesn't really matter if they are actually processed and then deported. It's just getting those people detained. And so there's a lot of systemic issues, and it's not necessarily the fault of the agents on the ground. They have a really tough job, and most people do support the idea that the borders were out of control and that there does need to be some kind of reversal around this, that there are too many people here that shouldn't have come here. But it's the method of how they're doing it is the big question here. And I mean, I've watched so many of these videos, and when these people say we're legal observers, yes, so are journalists. We've had training in this, and these people are doing a lot of stuff I would never do, and we've been trained not to do, and certainly ever blocking egress for someone to get out is a huge no-no. And they should know that if they were, and you know, so many of these people call themselves journalists when they go out too, and it is painful when you go to these protests and you're kind of lumped in with these citizen journalists who are there to provoke, who are there to aggravate, who are there to lobby, and that's not what a legal observer does. But when it comes to this Alex Preddy, he really just seemed like he was on the sidelines filming. That's a First Amendment right in this country. You have the right. And so it just becomes really hard to defend. And that's why we're seeing so many Republicans saying now, like, well, we need to look into this a bit more.
Now, this chat has gone too quickly. I know Mum and Dad are watching at home, so big shout out to them. It's too cold. It took too long for you to get ready. So can we just find some way, you know, we'll do like a 3-hour weekly podcast or something? Because I can't wait to talk to you more and more.
Anytime.
I love chatting to you. I love seeing you, and a big hug from everyone at home. Okay, darling?
Oh, thanks, Paulie.
See you later. She's the best, isn't she? Annelise Nielsen now, the Washington analyst, joining us from too early in the morning where it's too cold.